presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
Really nice to be back in Miami for all of us, especially the Marlins. The Mets are here. This is a three-gamer. The Fish, of course, were just in Milwaukee. That was supposed to be a home series for Miami. Dan Straley in the pen right now, getting ready for a start against the Metropolitans. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollingsworth. It's no secret Miami is struggling right now, maybe coming back home, albeit for just 3 days, is the trick they need.
Well, they played well here. There's no doubt about it. Dan Straley's pitched well in this building. That's maybe where you start. That's the one thing that really stands out over this last 20 games or so, is that the pitching has been getting absolutely mauled. 6.5 runs a ball game. But again, Dan Straley has been one of the guys. You put him right with Urena. I think that's the two-headed monster that you've got in this rotation. He's been the most consistent guy. Hopefully he shows up tonight.
Question we hear a lot of late, and a lot of people nationally want to know, Giancarlo Stanton, he's slumping, that's for sure. Why, and how does he get out of it?
Well, I think my number one reason for this is probably because the team's losing right now, and we think back to what his personality and how it's been this season, how frustrated it is. I mean, part of this is the team's not playing good baseball. Well, it's also translated in that he's not hitting the ball well at all right now. What is he not doing? Well, he's out in front. He's fooled. He's not seeing the baseball. That's the simple technical answer. But I'll tell you what, I think there's just an awful lot going on. These guys have been run hard. As we've talked about all season long, Don Mattingly has been forced to play this outfield almost exclusively every day of the season because they've been trying to battle back all year long. I think there's some fatigue in there as well.
Let's talk about the pitchers in this one. Both pitchers are coming off starts, which they'd rather have a do-over on. Let's start with Dan Straley.
You know, Dan's got to get the ball down. Listen, those secondary pitches are absolutely what his arsenal is all about. The secondary pitches a lot of times set up the good fastball. He'll elevate it at times. What happened in his last start was that he made pitches out over the plate. His slider was flat, his changeup was up, and he got hit hard by that Philadelphia Phillies lineup.
I think Met fans that take a look at Straley there with the breaking ball, a rough night, certainly in Philly. I think Met fans are wondering when Matt Harvey turns back into the dark night.
Well, you think back a couple of years ago, the guy that you're referencing had one of the best four-seam fastballs in the game of baseball. You saw 96 to 98, and it was a four-seamer, and he used it, and he got swings and misses like nobody else in the game. It was great to see. But over the last couple of seasons, he's had injuries, he's missed time, and that four-seam fastball velocity, it's not what it used to be. It's down about 3 miles an hour.
Hey, it's 3 games in 2.5 days, but the Marlins are just happy to be back here in Miami. Home again as the Fish and the Mets start it tonight. Jeff Nelson, Craig Minervini. More on that when we return. tonight. Making their way in, we go out to center field. Jeff Nelson joins Craig Minervini tonight. Hi, guys.
Hey, Rich. Good to have you guys back here. The Marlins went on that very long road trip, left town with the hurricane, came here, and the extended series changed from here in Miami to Milwaukee. It's a quick trip home for the Marlins, Monday through Wednesday. They'll leave Wednesday night again. Just being back home, even for a few days, I know is good for the guys to be back.
It is, well, especially when your city goes through a devastation like they just went through with Irma. You want to get back and try to support them just a little bit and play in front of your home fans. But also after having a tough, I guess, September, when you've fallen out of the playoff race, when you had those high hopes in August, the next thing you know, you start losing those one September, 3-13. It's deflating. You want to get home. You know you're right around the corner from the season ending, 13 games, 2.5 years. Then you fly out Wednesday to Arizona. Those two teams, Arizona and Colorado, are in the playoff hunt. Yep. Arizona's going to wind up getting that first seed or that first wild card, and it's a battle between Milwaukee, St. Louis, and Colorado for the next one. Maybe the Marlins will have something to do with it, go out and play their best baseball, even though they have to go out on the road again.
Brings up the topic with 13 to go for Don Mattingly here.
Feels good to be home. That's one thing I'll say for sure. Just to kind of be back, and I think just to see the area. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that's went on and a lot of cleanup to be done, but just good to be home.
Yeah, it was weird, like riding down the street today. Like, it's the daytime, so I seen like some of the aftermath or some stuff. It was kind of weird. But honestly, I kind of wish we didn't even come home, because it's like a tease. We only in our bed for 2 nights, so then we go back on the road for a whole nother week, and then it's over after that.
I think the organization did great. Milwaukee Brewers did great over there, hosting us in Milwaukee, making us feel good. And I think we got to say thank you to the organization of the Marlins organization for do whatever they can do to get the family out of here and keep everybody safe.
All right, Marlins have won 9 of the 16, 3 more to go in this series, and that'll do it for the Mets this year, and then off to the road and right back into this wild card mess as it's Arizona and Colorado that will host the Marlins coming up on Friday. But right now, it's Matt Harvey for New York and Dan Straley for Miami as the Fish return home tonight on Fox Sports Florida.
Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by the all-new Jeep Compass, by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Nori Aoki digging in right now for the Mets. And the rest of the Mets will line up right behind him. Their lineup is brought to you by Southwest. After Aoki, Jose Reyes. Switch hitting shortstop, you know him. Asdrubal Cabrera, you know him. Dominic Smith, you might not know. Dominic Smith, young Met prospect, getting a chance to play. Travis d'Arnaud behind the plate. Brandon Nimmo is having a nice year. Juan Legatas, Gavin Cicchini is at second base, and Matt Harvey hits ninth. Stan Straley against the Mets. He hasn't seen him since June, but when he saw him in June and April, he pitched quite well against him.
He sure did. Making his 31st start tonight. He's pitched well at Marlins Park. Most important thing, 3.27 ERA, 4-3 record. Marlins are 9-7 versus the Mets this year, so hopefully this all adds up to a good, quick homestand.
Aoki fouls it off. Now Aoki is well traveled this year. Was with Houston, played a bunch in Houston, traded to Toronto, and then was released by Toronto in late August. Mets signed him. Of course, the Mets have made a bunch of trades, feeding many contending teams with the guys like Jay Bruce and such.
Yeah, it feels like the home run conversation is like long gone. We're not like allowed to talk about that anymore. Well, they are. They've been hitting some home runs.
Aoki guides that one over the head of Anderson and into left field. That's a base hit.
That's 3 straight for Aoki. All right, let's take a look at the Marlins defense for tonight's ballgame. A little bit different, so pay attention. Here you go. Ozuna gets the start in left field. Ichiro's in center field, stands back and right. Anderson at third. Aviles, Gordon, Justin Bour, Tomas Telis behind home plate. With Dan Straley on the mound.
Reyes now, Aoki at first. You've got a couple of very popular Japanese players. Aoki, who was on Japan's World Baseball Classic team, and then Ichiro's out in center field. And Jose Reyes is at the plate. Reyes has been pretty durable for the Mets. You see 133 games, and his bat has perked up of late.
Last 14 games, 296. Batting average, 6 extra base hits, including 4 homers.
Straley with the breaking ball misses in. Reyes, of course, a Marlin for a season, 2012. This his 15th year in Major League Baseball.
Dan Straley, 13 hits allowed that last start versus the Philadelphia Phillies. 8 earned runs. That's one to forget. Give up a couple of home runs as well. One thing that's standing out to me this season is Dan is not he really hasn't wavered. There was a couple of moments earlier in the season back in April where you saw him at times, at least in my opinion, was kind of maybe steering away from barrels. Even though he's been getting hit a little bit here in the second half, he's stayed aggressive. He's still trying to get after hitters. I know his stuff has looked a little bit more up in the zone. For the most part, he is out there making pitches.
Well, he's 3-0 on Reyes. Aoki is at first. And Reyes walks. And so Straley puts Mets at first and second to open the ball game. And that'll bring up Asdrubal Cabrera, who finds himself not only in the 3 spot, but also at third base tonight. Now Cabrera is hot. Last 3 weeks, his average well over 400.
11-game hitting streak, 526 over those 11 games. Very nice second half. 5 home runs, 28 RBIs.
And a strike to Cabrera. Yeah, the Mets home run total took a pretty good hit with not only with injuries, but also with trades. We talked about Bruce, Duda, guys that could hit it out of the ballpark. Pitches in, and the injuries to the outfield. Obviously, Yoenis Cespedes out with a hamstring injury, and And Michael Conforto.
This Mets team, I'll tell you what, you go up and down this lineup, they're actually all, for the most part, hitting well here in September. September can be freeing when there's no expectation, and you have to believe that there's not a whole lot of expectation other than the certain individuals putting up numbers or trying to reach plateaus or drive in a certain number of runs. I mean, there's those things going on individually, but collectively this has been a long season for the Mets, and these younger players are showcasing themselves to the organization.
Count 1-2. A single to Aoki, a walk to Reyes. Dominic Smith on deck. He'll chopper up the line and steers foul. Cabrera, long-time Cleveland Indian, spent a couple seasons bouncing from Washington to Tampa Bay. And then last year with the Mets had arguably the best season of his career. 30 doubles, 23 homers, 810 OPS. That was a career high.
Tremendous compliment to the other power hitters that they've got on this team. Switch hitter.
Yeah, now he kind of finds himself as
the guy.
The guy.
In the 3 spot in the lineup, and he's on fire.
Even Curtis Granderson is gone, and Granderson had been a home run threat as well. Swing and a miss. And Cabrera strikes out. Straley gets a strikeout for the first out of the inning.
Let's check out this slider as he backs it up. Really good to see. Now it starts outside the zone and kind of works its way back to that corner. And Cabrera, he has been swinging a hot bat. He's trying to foul that ball off at a minimum. See him foul tip it into the glove. That was a very, very nice pitch from Dan Straley.
Dominic Smith. And Smith takes outside.
I feel like it's a bit of a reintroduction to Dominic Smith. Marlins saw him in August. In fact, he homered August 19th. But since getting to September, he's been playing every day. And oh, by the way, doing a pretty good job of it. 4 home runs, 14 RBIs this month.
Smith, the product of baseball's RBI program and the Compton Youth Group from ages 12 to 17. Mets took him in the first round, 11th overall, 2013. Straley's 1-1. And it misses out. The Mets, just by chance of schedule, are kind of the designated goodwill post-hurricane opponent. The Mets were the first into Houston to play the Astros after that awful hurricane and flooding, and they're the first here to play the Marlins. Smith swings and fouls it into the glove of Tomas Talis.
Straley has dialed up that outside corner. Cabrera and Smith both chasing. We've seen this from Dan a few times this season as he settles in that first inning. Pitch count up to 17.
Smith spent the year in Las Vegas, which if you're going to spend the year in a AAA spot, take my word for it, Vegas is a great place to spend it. 2-2. That went foul back out of play.
Well, now, Rich, you're going to have to do a better job of explaining that, because anybody listening would say, well, of course, Vegas is Las Vegas.
Well, look, it's Las Vegas, and it's a great place to hit for a guy like Smith.
There you go. There you go.
It's altitude, Cashman Field, hitter friendly. He was hitting .330, 34 doubles, 16 homers in 114 games for the Area 51s, named after that mysterious area where who knows what goes on there. Ichiro on patrol, makes the catch. It's interesting to watch Ichiro, isn't it? I mean, you're used to seeing Yelich with those long strides, and Ichiro's legs are just churning right away.
Well, listen, a great break, and you get to see that, and that's what's the most important thing. He can still go get it. You know, Yelich can probably cover a little bit more ground, but Ichiro said it time and time again. You watch a good outfielder, it's that first step that tells you whether or not he's going to get to the baseball, and you saw right away Ichiro off and running. You read that tailing action on the ball flight, able to bring it in.
Here is d'Arnaud. And he takes a breaking ball outside. Travis d'Arnaud in the 5 spot. See his season numbers against the Marlins quite good. And since mid-August has been swinging the bat better. Career against the Marlins at .327. So he's always one of those guys that, for whatever reason, seems to hurt the fish.
He's been splitting time with Kevin Plawecki. He's now up and he's been swinging the bat pretty well. I'm sure we'll see him in this series too.
Two-0 pitch, foul back to the screen, and it's 2-1. Dan Straley wobbles in the first. Hit to Aoki, a walk to Reyes. It's not easy to walk. But he struck out Cabrera. Smith lines to center. And he's 2-1 on Travis d'Arnaud. Got Brandon Nimmo on deck. Runner goes, and a swing and a miss. Talise is going to hold on. I don't know if Anderson didn't break. Talise almost released it and then held on.
Anderson didn't break for the bag. Good job by Talise on this one. He's going to come out. He's out of the chute. He wants to. There you go.
Well, it's a good thing that Talise didn't release the baseball. And the Mets get a double steal. Talise was up and ready to go.
We've seen many times this year JT Realmuto bail out the pitcher with a big play from behind the plate. Talise right there wanted to show off that cannon.
There's Nimmo. d'Arnaud with a count full, 3-2. Straley 24 pitches into this inning. That's a rarity for the Mets, as you see that a double steal is going to add 2 to their total.
Yeah, it's a different Mets team. One built for September. Different kind of September I'm talking about.
Well, the reunion will be great because a lot of those Mets players are out in postseason.
That's right. They'll be rubbing elbows with each other as they reintroduce themselves. That's correct. You're right.
3-2. Got him. Straley with the slider. Good swing and miss pitch. Mets leave a pair in scoring position. Miami's first swings against Matt Harvey coming up. little word from Perry Hill. And here is Miami's lineup. There's some changes in it tonight. It's brought to you by Southwest. Pay attention, everybody. D. Gordon in the leadoff spot. Tomas Talis is doing the catching, and he hits second. Christian Yelich has the night off. It moves Stanton to third, Ozuna fourth, Bohr fifth. Brian Anderson slotted sixth. Ichiro the start in center. Micah Vilas is at short, hitting eighth. Dan Straley in the 9 spot.
All right, there's Matt Harvey on the mound, 6'4", 215 pounds, 28 years old now. Here's your AutoNation scouting report. Downward spiral, since returning from the DL September 2nd. He's made 3 starts, 12.19 ERA. My goodness, 10 innings, just 10 1/3 innings, 426 batting average against, 14 earned runs. So what do you say? What's changed? His fastball velocity is different. Matt Harvey was known a few seasons ago as having one of the best fastballs in the game.
To center. And out there is a Gold Glover, Juan Lagares.
Arsenal's changed a little bit for Matt Harvey. Now he's going to lean on that fastball. He still uses it, just not as much. He's throwing the slider and the changeup a little bit more. Remember, he's got a pretty good curveball to go along with it. 12 home runs this year have been allowed, all come on that fastball.
So here's Talis in the 2 spot. You got Stanton on deck. Harvey misses outside. A couple of lost seasons for Harvey. Last year, 17 starts, an ERA just under 5. His ERA over 6 here. This is his 17th this season.
Man, the Mets have to figure out who he is. I mean, I don't think many people thought that question would ever get asked, much less by me. But who is Matt Harvey? One of the game's best right-handers in the game at one time, and now has got a bloated ERA. And he's probably fighting for a rotation spot.
Well, look, a couple of injuries and significant ones. Thoracic outlet syndrome is something we hear from a lot of pitchers. He's battled that, and then a bone chip in his shoulder. So those 2 injuries really have curtailed the last season worth of games.
He certainly needs the reps. He needs to be out there regularly.
Tomas Talis knocks one into left field. Before Stanton gets comfortable, here's the Mets defensively.
All right, here they are, Mets defense for you tonight's ball game. Nemo gets the start in left field. Lagares, Aoki in right, Cabrera, Reyes, Sakini, Smith, Darno, and Harvey.
Giancarlo Stanton stands in. It's hard to know whether numbers against Harvey hold in a matchup like this. Harvey's a little different than he has been. He throws a strike to Stanton, 88 miles an hour on the breaking ball. Stanton 2 for 17 and no homers in his career against Harvey.
That's the question. I think even coming into tonight's start is who is Matt Harvey?
Stanton pulls that bat through the zone, clips it foul. The count's 0-2.
Continues to have moments where you say, "Oh, that's the Matt Harvey that we remember," and then you look at his numbers in the 6.14 ERA. You look at the number of home runs he's given up. How about this? He's given up 17 homers in just over 80 innings. 17.
Stanton takes a 96-mile-an-hour fastball and fouls it off. Well, health is something that's been elusive for the Mets rotation for a few years now, and especially this season. Harvey battling it. Syndergaard's out. Steven Matz is out. Zach Wheeler's been shut down. There's the 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Terry Collins, when Harvey was really rolling, was able to hand him the baseball, and he knew he'd have, number 1, high velocity, number 2, precision, and really good control.
Speaking of precision, 4 walks in his last start.
Now that's, to me, amazing. That I know that doesn't sound like a high number because some pitchers get there, but Harvey against the Marlins hardly walks anybody.
Right.
In 10 career games against the Marlins, 62 strikeouts, 7 walks. That's it.
Part of that's the Marlins' approach. 3.56 ERA in those 10 starts.
2-2. And he throws a fastball by Stanton. 96 and elevated.
Look at that two-seam fastball at the top of the strike zone. You see Giancarlo Stanton kind of bearing down right there, unable to foul it off. This one gets by.
Now Ozuna, who's enjoyed his season against the Mets, that's for sure. An average close to 400. On base over 460. And slugging in the mid 600s. 4 homers against the Mets this year.
And he likes Matt Harvey. 350 in his career, 7 for 20, 3 RBIs.
Talise, not a big lead at first. Harvey misses down low.
Purcell's had a fantastic season here at Marlins Park. 327 average at home, 20 home runs.
Rolls that one up the middle. Reyes diving, sprawling, throwing, and he's not going to get anybody. I think sometimes when you make a dive like that, you've got to stick the landing, and I don't think he did.
This is a tremendous effort by the veteran, right? But, I mean, if you're going to make that kind of, well, listen, he did stick right there. Maybe that messed him up a little bit. Looks like he catches his knee on the turf right there. It kind of throws him over. Heels overhead. Watch this. Ooh. Oh, that's what it was. He lost the baseball. He double hit it. There you go. That's why he didn't have much on that throw to second base.
A terrific effort.
Yeah, it was. My apologies, Mr. Reyes.
It's an infield hit for Ozuna, and the Marlins get bored of the plate with a couple on, and we'll see how the Mets defend him. Not the extreme shift, but Cicchini is over a bit, second baseman. And Bohr lines it into right field. That's a hit. Talise around third, up with the ball. Aoki, the throw is late, and Talise scores.
Now the Marlins may have caught a break right there. Wasn't a bad throw by Aoki. I think Smith gets a piece of this on its way to home.
The throw absolutely died.
It did. You're absolutely right. But we got to figure out why it died. Great swing first off. JB does it once again. He has been locked in. His first game since July 19th here at home. First pitch, base hit. All right, watch. Well, it kicked up. You're right. It kind of died, and I think it also gets Smith just a little bit. It had a little bit more steam on it, didn't it, out of his hand?
Look, I was anticipating a play.
So was I.
When it came out of his hand, I thought this was going to be close. As I watched Talise score, I kept thinking, where's the baseball? Now Anderson takes down low. And so Bohr gives Miami a 1-0 lead.
Kind of backed up like a golf ball.
Good hustle by Ozuna to get to third. Anderson's first meeting with Matt Harvey.
Marlins stay on top of those first inning runs. Now 117 on the season.
That's going to be a fair ball. And the throw to first in the dirt, and it's dug out by Smith. D'Arnaud bounced one up there. Miami gets a run. Justin Bohr makes it 1-0. Mets who threatened. First two were on a hit and a walk. Dan Straley then struck out a pair, got a line drive out, and he was out of trouble. Back to the second, Brandon Nimmo, Juan Legatas, Gavin Cicchini for the Mets. Nimmo is a bright light for the Mets. Young player. They like the profile. They love the on-base percentage that he's shown throughout his minor league career. And many feel he's going to have a really nice future in the major leagues.
They're probably hoping he develops some power. Everything about his game is, at least in my opinion, somewhat unique. Love to see the on-base percentage. Get this, .399 in 56 games this year. That's outstanding. But he doesn't run much. A couple of stolen bases on the season, and he hasn't really hit for much power.
Takes that pitch down low. Larry Vanover, by the way, has joined us behind home plate. Stu Shorewater is at first. David Rackley at second. Alfonso Marquez is at third base. Nimmo swings and misses. It's 2-2. And it always reminds me, as many times as we wish that our travel schedule wasn't as hectic, umpires, no home games, always on the road.
Right.
And they move every series from city to city. And Nimmo got a piece held by Talise. Star Wars Night 8th Annual is coming up on September 30th. With your purchase of a special event ticket, you receive an exclusive Adam Conley Stormtrooper bobblehead, and a portion of the proceeds will support Stand Up to Cancer. Get your tickets at marlins.com/special events. Yeah, look, there's that's our crack staff. That was John Sulcer, our producer. That one ripped into the seats. Our production staff is second to none. We've talked many times about all the decorations and awards and plaudits that they've received by the truckload.
Yeah.
But when it comes to a night like Star Wars Night, it's the geek, the inner geek comes out in most of them. Legatas takes a breaking ball away. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
You're telling me that's the night that they're not on their best behavior?
That's the night where they're living vicariously through some fictional character. So, I mean, imagine a Wookiee.
Well, I'm trying to figure out do I need to be ready? Do I need to prepare myself for
imagine a Wookiee trying
some mischievous behavior?
Imagine a Wookiee trying to call cameras.
It's true.
Two and two.
Tell you what we've seen from Straley tonight's been pretty good, particularly on that slider. It's a little sharper, got a little bit more bite than what we've seen of late. Also got a little bit more velocity behind it.
There it is. Another strikeout. He's punched out 4 of the last 5 he's faced.
87-mile-an-hour slider on the gun from Straley. Seen that too many times this year. Check out this rotation. We talked about late break and movement. He gets swings and misses on the slider. We know that all along. 147 of them coming into tonight. The slider has been really good of late.
Gavin Cicchini takes a strike. Cicchini got to the big leagues last year after a long climb through the Mets system. First round pick back in 2012.
Cicchini had one of his best days as the big leaguer a couple days ago in Atlanta. 3 for 4, a double, a couple RBIs.
Lake Charles, Louisiana. His His brother in the Royals organization. His dad, a high-level high school coach. Got a 1-2 coming his way. And we've seen Straley really spin the ball well ever since the first 2 reached in the first inning.
Yeah, he's using it to both sides of the plate. So even in this at bat, 1 away, 1 in, both for strikes. Down. He got it down. There you go.
Another strikeout. Boy, 5 of the last 6. Dan Straley's punched out, and he strikes out the side in the second. 1-0 start for the Marlins. At home tonight against the Mets. Dan Straley hunting for win number 10. It's bottom 2 in Miami. Great to be home. The Fish in Milwaukee for 3. And while the people of Milwaukee were incredible, there's just something about not only coming home, and Don Mattingly said it before the ball game, being able to come home and just look around and see Miami and see areas that were damaged, see areas that were okay, see the recovery taking place.
Going on the bus last night, we needed to be, I mean, we weren't overwhelmed with emotion, don't misunderstand, but we needed to feel the emotions of being back home. I know so many people here that went through that. We didn't really share it with them. And trees down, lights out. Everybody took great care of us on the road. Yeah, look at this.
Milwaukee was just incredible with a lot of signs, decorations. They played up on the scoreboard all Marlin highlights in terms of the pregame stuff and introducing the team. They sold T-shirts in their gift store that benefited the hurricane recovery. Reyes to his left, bounces one over there. Boy, they're making it tough on Dominic Smith tonight. Yes, we like that one. Mickey can come north because in Milwaukee, they have lots of cheese. And that, it wasn't just Milwaukee. The Phillies organization was outstanding. Awesome. They set up a tent out by the buses where after the game the families could gather. It was catered so the kids could get something to eat before heading back to the hotel.
All 3 organizations went out of their way to take care of the families during the game in a way I've never seen before. Obviously some circumstances. The Braves didn't have to do it. They did. The Phillies didn't have to do it. They did. We were supposed to be there, but they did it anyway. I mean, awesome. Brewers top notch.
Aviles pops it up, and Reyes is there, and he makes the catch. By the way, Miguel Rojas still nursing that sore left shoulder. And so Avila's probably going to get some playing time here. Craig, you've got more on that for Miguel Rojas?
Yeah, I think good news. Talking to Miguel today, he actually took ground balls. He hit in the cage. He feels much better than you might have thought after looking at that. He said, look, he's been dealing with this all year, and he wants to keep going. So he thinks maybe only a couple of days. And what Don Mattingly was saying is he'll probably take it easy this series, but if healthy, he'd like to get him in for the important Arizona and Colorado series.
All right, thank you, Craig. And it's that we've seen it time in and time out, that dive to his left on the ball over the middle that is problematic for that shoulder.
He shows he almost always touches that joint right in there after it happens, and you wonder if.
Hey, Straley,
look at
into
this.
center field. Well, he's now 3 for 52.
There's about 4 or 5 sayings I can throw out right now. I'm just gonna let it breathe.
Well, look, he stayed middle. He stayed inside the ball, didn't he?
There you go. Sure, let's go with that. Well done. Good for Dan. I'll tell you what, puts a lot of time in the cage, works on his bunting, works on his swing. Good to see him get a hit every now and again. He's actually pretty much on time, got that front foot down.
D. Gordon rolls one. Reyes to his left has it. Backhand flip. Straley beats it. First with the bat, then with the legs. That's going to be a base hit for Gordon.
And it should. Reyes gets to it, ranging up the middle. Goes to the backhand, but there's nothing on it now. Listen, I apologized the first time. Not apologizing this time. He didn't get anything on it. Look at it. That's going to die. There you go. Nice job, Dan Straley.
Of course, Matt Harvey's probably thinking, I've had 2 weekly hit ground balls. I should be in the dugout by now.
Exactly right. Things are going rough. You start to look for answers, and you feel like sometimes it's just a snowball. We talked about the numbers. Coming into tonight, over the last 3 starts, his first 3 starts off the disabled list, hitters were hitting .426 against him. Marlins already have 5 hits tonight.
Well, Talise, a line drive to left. He and Justin Bohr have the hard hit base hits. Ozuna, Gordon, and Straley hit it in almost the exact same spot. A little dribbler past the mound. It's 2-0 on Talise. You got Giancarlo Stanton on deck. Stanton struck out back in the first. That the only strikeout for Harvey so far on the night.
She saw his best velocity against Stanton in that at bat.
Harvey back to an even count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Oh, this is a pretty good example. This is the spot where 2 years ago you'd see him rev it up and go to the top of the strike zone and look for that, hunt that swing and a miss. 96, 98 miles an hour. He did get Stanton on it. Let's see what he tries to go to here.
Talise, high fastball. Caught out there by Nimmo. And Miami leaves a couple. Headed to the 3rd. 1-0. Fish.
Broadcast is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
A disclaimer with authority, with gusto, with gravitas. Big night if you are a Japanese baseball fan. Whether you're watching us wherever you might be, this is the place to be. You got Ichiro in the starting lineup. You got Nori Aoki. Ichiro getting the start in center field. Christian Yelich the night off. Here's Harvey. And Dan Straley misses in with the fastball. Harvey, Aoki, and Reyes in the third. Straley has found another gear after the first two were aboard in the first. He has struck out 5 of the next 6.
Oh!
Straley's gone 3-0. Back to 3-1. Back into the at-bat at 3-2.
Harvey's giving him a little fight. Really staying with the fastballs. He certainly doesn't want to walk Harvey to start the third.
Odrisamer Despaigne is the likely starter for the Marlins tomorrow. Don Mattingly addressing that today. So Lugo Despaigne tomorrow. Let's do some T-Mobiling, shall we? Like a little organ riff there. Matthew Boyd yesterday just missed a no-hitter. Tim Anderson with 2 outs in the 9th. Ryan Zimmerman, 90 wins for the Nationals. 2 more home runs, and he's an RBI shy of 100. And Justin Verlander as an Astro. Pitched quite well. Houston beat Seattle, and the Astros clinch the West. That's his home debut for Verlander. It's 3-0 in an ERA of under 1 in the 3 starts so far. Now, Straley walking Harvey. Aoki lined to left his first time up. Aoki, a veteran, he's 35 now. And of course, for players of his generation, or even Ichiro's generation, you got to play a good chunk in Japan before you were eligible to come to the United States. Aoki, 8 years with the Yakult Swallows before he came over and signed with Milwaukee.
I'll tell you what, that's given him an opportunity, and he's impressed. Now playing in his 15th game with the Mets. Batting average up near 300, on base percentage at 375. He's slugging 440.
Very fundamentally sound.
Yeah, a couple of stolen bases. Got 3 stolen bases now, 3 for 3.
Check swing, no swing. His career slash line, which is batting average, on base, and slugging, 285, 350, 389. He's 5 bases away from stealing 100 in what is a 6-year run in the big leagues. Full count, 3-2. Aoki. Ichiro is there, and he makes the catch.
Tell you what, Aoki all over Dan Straley so far tonight. Line drive to left for a base hit. Here with 2 strikes, it's a rocket to center field. Chiro in perfect spot. Bring up Jose Reyes, who walked his first time.
Slider misses in, appeal down to third. Alfonso Marquez, who's featured in every ballpark. A public service announcement up on the big board. Usually about 20 minutes before first pitch, Alfonso comes on.
As Marlins fans know, Reyes loves to hit in this ballpark. 321 average. 92 games, now 93.
And he's going old school slash new school. Old school in that he's got the pants up high and the socks up high. New school, those are the cool stance socks that have the New York skyline on. Rusty Staub did not have those available to him.
Allie didn't have them either, you know.
Reyes stays alive. Young fan looked like he had a glove on it. That's why they practice the tip drill in two-a-days. Actually, the young fan never had a shot. It was over his glove, and the gentleman that was with him had it bounce off his hands.
Yeah, blame the adult.
I thought the kid had good rebounding position. Swing and a miss, and Reyes strikes out.
Remember that Cabrera at bat in the first inning? You remember what he struck out on? Well, if you missed it, pay attention. He does it to Reyes right here. Backup slider. Look at this. Just dots the outside corner. Nice job by Talise holding it right there.
Straley really sharp with the breaking ball. Probably his best night of the year with that was in San Diego when he struck out 14, which was a career high.
Oh. That was a special night for Straley. Boy, oh boy, did he get in rhythm, and it was nobody had a shot.
Struck out 14 in 7 innings.
It was blinding, wasn't it?
And,
I mean,
and he threw only 97 pitches.
Right. There weren't many foul balls. There wasn't much of anything. It was just him locked in, all 3 pitches working. You know, a little two-seamer was working that night. I remember it. The slider was going, the changeup was going. Wow.
Curious to see how Milwaukee plays down the stretch after having seen him this weekend. They've got Pittsburgh for 3, and then the Cardinals are up at Miller Park for 4. Right now, Milwaukee a 1-0 lead in Pittsburgh.
The Brewers have some head-to-heads with both the Cardinals and Cubs, but they've got to win the other games.
Dodgers are on the East Coast. They're actually in Philly, and they've got Clayton Kershaw on the mound and a 2-0 lead in the 4th.
Think Hoskins gets him?
Well, if anyone's in that lineup,
he's going to get him.
That's a late call by Vanover as dribble Cabrera. Called back for one more pitch, at least. Runner on the move, ball fouled back. and an apology for the frustrations that were verbalized by Asdrubal Cabrera.
Really thought he missed his pitch.
That's not the loudest one I've heard in my career. Young Kim trying to bunt.
Hey, I was on the field for 12 years. You should have heard what I heard.
3-2. That's ball 4. Larry Vanover calling it. And Cabrera walked. The surprising thing about BK Kim on that was that I think a lot of people didn't realize the extent of his English vocabulary, which was somewhat of a mystery until that moment. Dominic Smith is up. Smith line to center. 3 walks to go with 6 strikeouts. And as a result, Straley's at 65 pitches here in the 3rd inning. And that does not bode well if he wants to get as high as, say, the 7th.
It's like a lot of hot and cold for Straley so far through 3 innings. No damage yet. Obviously some traffic on the bases. Strikeouts shows you he's still got it. He's still moving here in his 31st start. In fact, it looks like there's hints at more velocity on the fastball tonight than really what we've seen all season long. He has struggled with his command just a bit.
Well, the command issue right now arises with a 2-0 count to Smith.
And you've got to be really, really careful with Dominic. I'll tell you what, he is their most dangerous hitter with runners in scoring position. .353 since arriving to the big leagues August 11th. He's driven in the most runs in that period of time, 22. He has been getting it done. Mets offense has been pretty decent here in the month of September. They've scored runs, it's just been different. Last few seasons, we're all used to talking about home runs and how far did they go. A little bit more creative now. Some hot bats in the lineup, and they hit and run, and they steal bases. It's a little different.
Well, Smith trying to elevate there. Kind of a back foot swing with tilt. Again, big uppercut. Straley gets a strike. It's 2-2.
So many hitters this season walk out of the box thinking they should have done more with this Dan Straley slider, and we've watched it an awful lot. Guys trying to time it up, trying to see it out of his hand, and think they're right on it, only to come up empty. Over 150 swing and misses at his slider this year.
Two. On the ground, Gordon dives, has it on his knees, flips to first in time. And Straley gets some nice defense to keep the ball game at 1-0. Giancarlo leads off. Of the third. Don Mattingly has him third in the lineup, and he was asked about the move from number 2 to number 3.
More just because of Yelly not in there. I thought that balanced it out a little better. It's tough to find easier to be able to put a guy in the 2 and slip him back and balance the lineup. So it really was nothing more than Yelly not in there, balancing it out.
Yelich out tonight. Tomas Talis is in that 2 spot. Talis has swung the bat pretty well. He's got a hit and a line drive out. Stanton, Ozuna, Bohr against Matt Harvey. And Stanton, the only strikeout victim in the first 2 innings of Harvey's night. A 6-game homerless drought, which for Stanton seems like a month, having watched what we've watched, that incredible show of his.
Right. Well, 29 at bats is a long time, right? Between home runs. That's how long it's been since '54.
They say that, some hitters can have a run like this near the end of the season and it gets hidden, as opposed to when it's at the front of the season to start your year. But when it comes after the barrage that Stanton put up and the pace that he was on, it also stands out.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that get into this. I also believe he became the front runner in the MVP conversation. You agree?
Without question.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where I was. I'm not sure he's there right now. I mean, I'd love for him to see him heat up back up again and make this a great conversation, a great debate as the season ends, because when you hit 54 home runs, you've got to be considered. He's done other things as well. Talked about it all season long, but definitely feels like he's cooling off here in September and kind of hoping he'd stay hot.
We've got a couple weeks worth of ball games.
Well, good places to go hit.
Arizona first, then Colorado. Here's Ozuna. Marcel, an infield hit back in the first. High fly ball to right. Aoki now backpedaling, makes a catch. Marlins ballpark pass. So for the next 2 games, and of course the 4 games against Atlanta, $29.99 gets you into all of those games. For more information, download the MLB.com ballpark app. Visit Marlins.com/pass today. I would think at some point they're going to have to drop that price, right? I mean, we're down to 5 games after this.
I'm with you.
I don't know that we can.
It's been a pretty consistent read throughout September.
We're not authorized to barter on the air.
I wasn't quite sure where to go with that, but I am in full agreement.
Maybe tomorrow night on email and Twitter Tuesday, we'll be able to announce a price drop. Bohr lined one to right for a hit and knocked in the only run of the night.
I've said it a few times since Justin Bohr has come back. He looks like the Justin Bohr before he left. Plate discipline, using the whole field. We're all just holding our breath, wait and see that first home run. Exit velocity starting to come back.
Bohr cranks another one to right field. Aoki's not going to get it. It gets by him. Stanton racing for third. Aoki picks it up, and Bohr rumbles into second with an absolute bullet of a double. My goodness. He hasn't missed a beat. I know he hasn't knocked one out of the yard yet,
Right.
but he's done everything else.
This is what we're talking about. The exit velocity's been picking up over the last few ball games. Here's a pretty good example of it. Slider down into the sweet spot of his swing. You see him drop the barrel, lining it over Aoki's head in right. Look how fast this gets out there. Aoki thinks he's got a chance, and he realizes, oh man, there's no way I'm catching that ball. Everything off the barrel right now. Giancarlo Stanton's liking it.
And so Bohr's at second. Stands at third. This is a big at bat for Brian Anderson. Mets infield's back, so a ground ball past the mound should produce a run.
109 miles an hour off the bat of Justin Bohr.
This is one of those at bats that talent evaluators Major League managers, hitting coaches want to see for a rookie in September, getting his first taste of the big league. Situational hitting. Can you put the ball in play to produce the run? Counts 0-2.
Anderson had a nice road trip, 296. A couple of doubles, couple of RBIs. He's got to find good contact here. You mentioned it, ground ball. Second or short will score a run. In fact, a slow roller to the right side will get it done. Now Harvey looking for the strikeout.
Anderson with a fastball, and that's the roadmap that you've detailed. With 2 strikes, Harvey turning back the clock, and velocity right now at 96, not bad. I mean,
it is, and I think that's the sign. The Mets have talked about this, I think, over his last couple of starts, and of course there's mixed results, but usually he's rushing you up there at 98 miles an hour. You're seeing the 96, it's a strong number.
Ball in the dirt. Stanton's coming home, and Giancarlo is across.
Nice job by Giancarlo Stanton. Great read, great anticipation with 2 strikes. That's the key to this situation, right? 2 strikes. Got to be ready for that slider in the dirt. As soon as Stanton sees the ball down, he is off to the races. He, in fact, beats Harvey to home. Look at this. As soon as that ball gets by, here he comes.
I'm a bit surprised that the Mets didn't appeal the swing, unless they did right away, because it looked like the beginning of a check swing. Bohr's now at second, a 2-0 Miami lead.
Harvey seems to really be hunting away against Anderson. Sliders away, fastballs up and away. Nothing on the inside part of the plate yet. Darno sliding back out. He's pretty convinced that's where the out's at. See if Anderson can do something about it.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Bouncer backs Cabrera up at third. And there's the second out. Ichiro now.
Get the intentional walk.
Mets would rather go after Aviles than Ichiro here.
Splits about 50 points higher. Of course, you create a force out at any base on the infield. 2 outs. Aviles scuffling just a little bit. 2 for 14 on the road trip. Popped up his first time.
Aviles, a little dribbler to third. Cabrera, bare hands, not going to get him. Bags are loaded. Now the Mets still have Straley to pitch to.
Get Straley up to the plate. He's got a base hit in the ball game. Nice hustle by Aviles. I'll tell you what, we've noticed so far in the first 3 innings of this ball game, Mets infielders able to get the balls, but not able to get much on the throws.
That's 4 infield hits,
right,
and none of them were hit that hard.
Well, they've been actually fielded balls, and it really is just kind of getting back to the arm strength of the infielders. So hot hitting Dan Straley steps in with the bases loaded. 1 for his last 1.
Trending upwards.
He is.
Hard! Hard!
Pretty simple. A couple fastballs and a couple strikes. 2-0 Miami.
Hard! Hard!
That translated would be strike 3 called from Larry Vanover. Another run for the Fish and a 2-0 lead. Now it was exciting to come back home, not only just to be home, but also to see Marlins Park and see how it weathered the storm. And Craig Minervini is with Claude Delorme right now, and he'll give us an update.
Thank you, Rich, the Executive Vice President of Operation and Events, Claude Delorme. And, you know, considering the nature of this large storm, which caused so much havoc and damage in South Florida for basically a minor portion of the roof, the storm and the Marlins Park, you'd have to say you held up pretty well, huh?
Yeah, we are very pleased with the performance of the facility under the circumstances. You know, Category 3 storm and the width and the span of the storm and the intensity of the winds for an extended period of time. We had no water damages, no water infiltration inside the venue, and really minimal damages in terms of trees surrounding the ballpark and whatnot. But yeah, overall performed very well.
And you've had, by design, 3 gaps in the roof itself, covering 36 feet, 16, 10, and 10, and that that theory held up very well.
Yeah, when we designed the roof and designed the building, basically we designed it with that in mind, so there would be no uplift on the roof and not that external pressure. So having those 3 gaps and the roof being locked down and the operable wall being locked down, it served definitely served its purpose.
Who put up all the shutters?
There was a lot of glass and a lot of flood panels, a lot of floodgates. We had 29 floodgates just to make sure the water did not find its way inside the ballpark. So it worked out well.
Now, obviously, the roof was closed for, what, 4 or 5 days, so the grass in some spots, as you might expect when you don't get sun, is a little spotty.
Yeah, definitely the grass needs a lot of sun and love right now. So, yeah, being completely enclosed for 5 days definitely took its toll. But we think we'll see some pretty significant improvements for the next homestand, and certainly right after the season, our focus will be on the field.
Claude, I know you guys are very confident. You built it with a storm like this in mind, but were you nervous heading into this storm, not knowing what to expect?
Yeah, you're always nervous, right, when you hear about a storm that's a Category 5, and when the winds were 185 coming our way, and the direction at one point was going to be a direct hit. So yeah, it makes you nervous, and certainly we're happy with the end result. So, and now it's nice that our fans can see and watch baseball with the roof fully enclosed.
Time to talk about a happier subject. Last time I think we got you on the aquarium that was hit, that ballpark. We'll get you next time with something positive.
Hopefully we'll find something. Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Claude.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Claude DeLorme, we always like talking to him and getting updates on what's going on here at the ballpark. Rich, take it away.
All right, thank you, Craig. Dan Straley and Brandon Nimmo. Top 4 for the Mets. Just one hit. That was the Aoki line drive that opened the ball game. Oh, a strikeout victim in the second. Larry Vanover has a somewhat of a delay on his strike call. No swing. The delay is not as dramatic as a longtime Major League umpire, now retired Tim McClellan.
He's going to take a deep breath with that powerful voice.
You played in the era of Tim McClellan, right?
Yep.
Did he give you a grunt or any sign that he was going to call that a pitch a strike?
No.
Did you always turn around in anticipation?
Thought it was very disrespectful on my part, but I as you watch, because usually you don't try to create that eye contact, because again everybody sees it. People always assume there's something being said, but yeah, you kind of had to wait.
Brandon Nimmo on his way down to first. All right, strikeouts. That got him out of trouble in the first.
Well, a couple of them pretty identical. You see that one right there. That's a Cabrera. These two working away from d'Arnaud. Lagares. Look at Reyes. That's what I love. I love to see it against the lefties. Both of those sliders backing up, controlling the spin. Good to see. Dan Straley has been so outstanding with that slider this year.
Roller towards shorts. Aviles. Gordon didn't quite have the grip on the baseball. It kind of came out like there was gum stuck on the ball. Sometimes that quick transfer, you don't quite get it in the fingers.
Right back to the slider. It's a ground ball. Good exchange there. Yeah, it just didn't have much on it. More wisely off the back. Keep that in the dugout.
Cicchini gets it off the end of the bat.
Probably busted his cup. No, not that cup. The cup at the end of his bat.
I was contemplating how to extract you from that When
I knew that was
when you
coming.
hollow out the end of the bat, which
You lose it.
many feel it gives you a little bit of an advantage because it's a little lighter on the swing. They call that the cup of the bat. In no way protective of the bat. There you go. Runner goes. Talise's throw is high. Gordon with a swipe tag. Lagares has the bag.
Credit to Talise. He made something out of nothing right there. Harris had a pretty good jump. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 4 steps before Dan lets go of that baseball. It's a breaking pitch. And it's actually pretty close play at second base.
Ball and a strike. South Florida Honda dealers get you going tomorrow night, 6:30 start. Jeff Nelson, good to have him with us for this series. He and Craig will be at it out in center field. Emails and tweets tomorrow night. Despagne and Lugo tomorrow night. For someone throwing a one-hit shutout in the fourth, it's been somewhat of a stressful game for Straley. 84 pitches, 4 walks.
Right, it's been hot and cold. I mean, that's the feel of this entire start. You know, part of that's the history and what Dan's been dealing with here. Well, maybe in the second half, clearly coming off one of his worst starts of the year. So he's trying to be on top of that margin.
Up the middle, Aviles can't get it, and into center field it goes. Aviles lost his glove. Mets have a run. He's looking at his left hand. Marlins can ill afford to lose him.
I don't know if it's defensive positioning or we got a fast infield, but I'll tell you what, we've seen some slow rollers get through the middle. Look at that, that's about a 16 hopper.
It's called breaking ankles. Watch D. Gordon at second. Lagares scores. And Cicchini cuts Miami's lead in half. Here's Harvey now.
Lagares stolen base, set that up. Mets now have 3 stolen bases in tonight's ball game. That's only the 4th time that's happened this year.
Count 1-2. Got him with a slider, but the Mets cut the lead in half. 2-1, Miami. Florida is brought to you by the all-new Jeep Compass. By Hankook Tires, chase down your passion, never halfway. And by your South Florida Chevy dealers. Some Met bobbleheads. Yeah, move on, Met. Johan Santana through the first no-hitter. D. Gordon bunting. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Darno was the closest there. There's no way he was going to pick it up and throw him out.
D. Gordon has been absolutely locked in. Get ready. Yeah, with the bunt. He's been doing this over the last 2 weeks as well as I've seen him all season long. I'm telling you, he has got a great feel and a great idea of what he wants to do with the barrel, what he wants to do with the ball, and where he's going to put it. We've seen this, I don't know, what, at least 4 or 5 times this month alone.
So you got Gordon at first, sitting on 54 stolen bases.
Another infield hit.
Harvey trying to wait him out.
We talked about the Mets picking up 3 stolen bases in tonight's ballgame. Well, D. Gordon's got 54 on the season. The Mets have 53. Neck and neck.
So by my count, 8 hits for Miami, and only 2 of those have left. Actually, 3 of them have left the infield. The 2 Bohr hits, both line drives to right, one a single, one a double, and Talisa's line drive to left. That's close. And of course, Diaz in with shooting distance of picking up another stolen base crown.
Billy Hamilton's dealing with a hand injury, so he's been pretty much on the shelf. I keep hearing rumors that he might get back on the field. He's at 58 right now.
Gordon runs, pitch is taken, Darno's throw. Not in time. And there is 55.
Gets the jump he was looking for. No, not the best of throwers in the game. Throw high as well. So D picks up that stolen base. Able to hold on to second as well. There you go. You're up to the minute.
Many people have asked. Higher number, Gordon stolen bases, Stanton home runs, and I think you would have to say Gordon stolen bases, would you?
Right now, he's on fire. He's hitting what, 20 or 21 ball games. I mean, he's hitting close to 400 over the stretch. He's stealing bases left and right. I mean, listen, he's got the ticket to go. I mean, even if we want to go back and talk about that again, you know, the dynamic where Stanton's sitting behind him in the lineup and D's at the top. You got D on base, you'd expect D to be running even with Giancarlo Stanton up.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Talise. Stanton is up next. Look, I chuckled because you don't often see a player get hit right on the backside like that. And it's hard to know, how do you get out of the way?
You got to go in. That's so hard to do. As a hitter, you always think, get out of the way, meaning exit the batter's box backwards where your back end is. That's your first instinct, and you almost see it even with Talise. He's like, where do I go? And you get caught in between, and a lot of times that's how you end up getting hit. Matt Harvey had 60 pitches.
Well, remember, as Dan Warthen is out there to visit with Harvey, Stanton was walked in the third, not intentionally, but Harvey pitched cautiously to him. Here there are runners at first and second. And nobody out. Stanton just looking for solid contact right now.
Keep your eyes on D. Gordon. You may see him go here.
Cicchini trying to keep him close. Stanton drives it. Left center field and deep. 55. In the blink of an eye.
Well, sometimes you just throw those career numbers out the window. Struggling pitcher, somewhat struggling hitter, no more. Giancarlo Stanton gets Matt Harvey. Home run number 55. It's got to feel good for Giancarlo. 32 plate appearances since 54. How about this slider? It backs up. It's a spinner, cement mixer.
Number 55 travels 455 feet.
The line.
114 miles an hour off the bat. How about that?
It had been a while since we'd seen that exit velocity.
His first home run ever against Matt Harvey.
Well, you know, I was thinking, you know, here we were at the beginning of the ball game. We've talked Stanton struggles, and then we're talking Harvey struggles, and like this is where it flips, right? This is why baseball is baseball.
Ozuna knocks one into right field. So Miami has built a 5-1 lead. Giancarlo not only hitting one in the seats, but knocking in 3 runs. He's at 116 now on the season.
Well, regardless of what you think, Harvey's appearance tonight here in the 4th inning, he's now given up double-digit hits and 5 runs in this ball game.
So Hansel Robles in the bullpen. Here's Bohr now, RBI single and a double. And both of those were hit hard. That one to center brings Lagares on over. He makes the catch. So in that swing of Giancarlo's, now you've seen him at his very hottest. You've seen him over the last 3 weeks cool down. What did you see in that swing?
Well, listen, that was a great swing on a slider. Now, the slider's the mistake. And again, we've talked about Stanton all season long. When he gets mistakes, he doesn't miss them. The key to this at bat is the fact that he didn't chase the first 95-mile-an-hour fastball at the top of the zone. It sets up the mistake. And that's what he did well right there. Listen, that was a bad pitch by Harvey. It was a mistake. He hit the mistake. He stayed on it, and he found center field. Those are all positives. But to me, laying off that fastball set up that moment.
Anderson rolls one up the middle. Cicchini to Reyes, and he turns the double play. Welcome back, big fella. Giancarlo Stanton. Been sitting on 54 for a week. And 55 was an absolute missile. Stanton in the 3 spot tonight for the first time in a long time. And he absolutely crushes one to left center. Miami's lead is 5-1 against Matt Harvey and the Mets. Dan Straley with a little more cushion. And Nori Aoki takes a breaking ball up. Top of the order, Aoki, Reyes, and Cabrera. Aoki pulls that one foul.
Dan Straley looking for win number 10. Wants to get to double digits, and that's a possibility tonight.
It's funny, we asked that question during that sequence. Who was going to have more? D. Gordon stolen bases or Giancarlo home runs?
Oh, yeah. D's way on their plaque.
D swipes number 55. Oh, yeah, for Gordon, it'll be much easier. Stanton
right.
Clobbers number 55. Aoki lines it, and that's a hit. Ozuna grabs it. Geico presents a Marlins moment. There's the waggle. Harry Sheffield, 1995. Drove in 7 runs at Philly. This, of course, is stock footage from the World Series. Single game Marlins record. Mets and Fish. Reyes takes a breaking ball in. Aoki's had the best swings of the night against Straley.
He's been on fire since putting on a Mets uniform.
You know, look, you've got one future Hall of Famer in Ichiro and another guy who was a really good player in Japan and has been a nice player in the major leagues in Aoki. Aoki did something that Ichiro never did in Japan, and that was get to 200 hits in a season. Ichiro never got there. Aoki got there twice. Of course, when Ichiro got to the major leagues, he had 10 consecutive 200 hit seasons. Little Jose. We missed Little Jose from back in 2012. Our little puppet friend. Constant companion of the crack staff throughout Major League Baseball. Reyes has walked and struck out. You never met Little Jose.
I did not.
Remember Penny Hardaway and Little Penny? Very similar.
Interesting.
Oh!
I had a fondness for Little Penny.
We were unable to get Chris Rock's voice for the character.
He's pretty good at talking trash. Little Penny.
We tried. We asked Chris if he could do a little bit of a Latin accent. We saw Little J-Hay in Pittsburgh.
It's pretty entertaining.
Josh Harrison, that was very entertaining. Liner to right, Stanton comes charging in, makes the catch. Aoki strayed far, and Stanton's throw on a hop, not in time. Reyes lined out. You can see the sand with every ball that lands in the outfield. Watch the sand kick up with Stanton. As you heard Claude Delorme speak, the rainy season down here has been exceptionally wet, and with the hurricane that has come through as well, the outfield and the infield grass has not been able to get much sun at all, and that's been a problem this year. As Drupal Cabrera has struck out and walked. There's that delayed call by Larry Vanover. So he's having a nice night back there.
He really is.
I don't want to say he's rusty, but he really hasn't been back there much at all.
Hasn't got much opportunity. I'm sure he's been doing his work on the side to stay as ready as he can, being the third catcher. I'll tell you what, he's looked good. He's been on his toes tonight. Australia's had no problem trying to bury that slider at times.
Dustin McGowan, Miami's bullpen. Ozuna. Aoki tags. Nice throw by Ozuna.
Couple outs here in the fifth. This is Dan Straley at 103 pitches.
Dominic Smith now is lined out and bounced out. Not a full schedule at all in Major League Baseball tonight. In fact, it's less than half a schedule. Milwaukee continues to lead Pittsburgh 2-0, bottom six. Kershaw shutting out the Phillies 2-0, bottom six in Philly. Arizona is in San Diego tonight. Twins and Yankees, there's a lot of focus on that series. Wild card teams right now in the American League. And it's 1-1, Twins and Yanks, top six. Well, you look up at the scoreboard and you see a run on 3 hits. Dan Straley's had the strikeout pitch working as well. He's punched out 7. But he's at 106 pitches now. And so your guess is he's only going to last just these 5 innings. Miami's bullpen is up. Straley has walked 4.
Spot does come up next inning. We're still seeing good velocity from Dan. 91, 92 miles an hour on the fastball. He's trying to stay away from Smith. He's got him set up. He could throw that back foot slider. He might get the swing and miss he's looking for right here.
Anderson chasing. Count still 1-2. Dodgers built that lead on back-to-back homers to open the game. Chris Taylor, Justin Turner off of Nick Pivetta.
He's given up a few home runs this year.
Oh! Didn't come far enough to catch the corner. Swing and a miss. Straley on pitch 110 gets the strikeout, his 8th. And Miami is up 5-1. Noah Syndergaard, and the Mets got some good news today. Out with Dan Worthen and Ricky Bones. 245, little sim game, a simulated game.
The world, are you kidding me? Just need to be throwing sim games.
Mets would like him to come back and pitch a couple of times, maybe just at an inning apiece, just to reassure him and them that that lat is 100%.
Doctor might give you that answer, but if I'm just going off of what I saw, I think he's good to go. I don't speak doctor, I speak baseball, and that was pretty legit right there. You see those swings?
Especially that first pitch changeup.
Yeah, how about it?
Ichiro knocks it into left field. And Ichiro 1 for 2 tonight with an intentional walk mixed in there. The Ichiro fans happy.
Joins the hit parade. It's the curveball. Doesn't throw too many curveballs tonight, but you saw one right there. Ichiro right on it. In fact, that is his first hit against Matt Harvey. I think that broke a little over against him. 0 for 9. Ichiro's first hit against Matt Harvey ever. There you go.
Oh, Aviles. Fastball. Look out for in your ear, kid. That one was up and close.
They would have get the bat on the ball.
Oh, he got the bat. Wasn't as close as I thought from our vantage point.
Well, what ends up happening here, though, and you see the reaction from Aviles, is that he's got loose hands and he's trying to deaden the ball, and when that ball hit the bat, he kind of thrust the bat back at his collarbone.
Tyler Moore is on deck. Straley's spot. Bottom 5, halfway through 5-1 Marlins. If you've just joined us, Giancarlo Stanton left the building at 455 feet. It's almost the same spot. That's a ball and a strike. Stanton a 3-run homer in the 4th. Justin Bour's got 2 hits and an RBI. Miami's built a 5-1 lead at home against the Mets. You heard Craig report that Miguel Rojas, you see Hansel Robles, Tommy Malone. Now, if you're focused on Ichiro, out. He was setting up, I think, to get second base in case Ichiro was running. Miguel Rojas, the report by Craig, that the shoulder feels better.
No.
Two. Up the middle, that's a base hit into center field. Aviles follows the Ichiro single with one of his own. Now you could actually hit straightly here and have him bunt.
Yelich is gonna pop out.
You could pull Christian Yelich's name out of your scorecard.
I'll tell you right now, Matt Harvey would like to put up a net behind the mound. A little runway between batter's box and center field.
So it is going to be Yelich. And Terry Collins is going to come out, and I would expect he'll select Tommy Malone in this Florida lottery call to the pen. called to the pen. Enter your Lotto Fantasy 5 or all new Fast Play ticket in the Florida Lottery Game Day Cash Promotion. You can win a 2018 Lazy Days RV motorhome, over $200,000 in cash prizes, bowl tickets, season tickets, and more. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly.
The Mets. See the 7.42 ERA. He's pitched 47 innings. He's been part starter, part reliever this year. 7.20 ERA and 35 innings pitched. 8 starts as a reliever. 8.03 ERA. 7 games.
Matt Harvey, 12 hits, 5 runs, responsible for Aviles at first base, and Ichiro out at second base. Yelich takes a slow breaking ball for ball 1. Yelich flips that one foul. Ball and a strike. Yelich has been in there just about every night. So much so that he does not have a pitch hitting at bat. Is it hard to pinch hit when you have a day off, as opposed to, say, you're a bench player and you have a pretty good idea you're gonna get a pinch hit?
It really just depends on how you handle it. I think Christian Yelich is more than ready for this at bat. I mean, he played yesterday. He's been playing all week, all season, listen, he took a few innings off.
Little tapper. Malone spins around, fires to first, and that moves both runners up. Brings up a hot D. Gordon. Gordon in the infield hitting the second. He rolled one over the middle, and then a gorgeous bunt base hit. Swiped his 55th bag. Trotted home on the Stanton homer. So he's 2 for 3, a run scored, a stolen base. And he's shooting at a drawn-in Mets infield with 1 out and runners second and third.
He's been on his game. He's been sitting on pitches. When he gets them, he hits.
Multi-hit games. Charlie Blackmon at 64.
Leading the National League in singles.
And Malone's out in front of him, 0-2. Infield in. Gordon knocks one where nobody's playing. In the gap right center. Off to the races he goes. Ichiro scores. Avila scores. Gordon to third, and he's held there with a 2-run triple. Wow.
Tell you what, if it wasn't for the speed of Lagares in center field, I think V would have had a shot at an inside the park home run. That was to no man's land with 2 strikes. It's a fastball, thigh high, turns on it. We've talked about this. When you make a mistake to D right now, he has been on it, barreling up. As soon as you see him hit this, it is off to the races. Legara swung way over to left center field. There goes D streaking across your screen. Now 7-1 Marlins. Another rough outing for Harvey.
Now you got Talise. You're right. Those 2 runs on Harvey's line. Infield's still in. Matt Harvey, 4 innings, a dozen hits. And now 7 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. His ERA up to 6.59. And it's 3-0. Well, Mets have a right-hander ready in the pen, and if Malone loses Talise here, I guess that would be the move for Stanton up next.
Ball 4.
That's ball 4. And before Talise's bat hit the dirt, Terry Collins was in mid-flight out to the mound. Terry Collins going to ask for the baseball in this Florida lottery. Called to the pen, 7-1 Fish. Ready for his next at-bats. Bring your friends, family, or colleagues to the left field balcony for a customized in-day experience. Every time a Marlin hits a home run into the balcony, your group gets a round of drinks on the house. It's an exclusive experience at marlins.com/balcony. See, I think this home run's not in the balcony, but it went 455 at 114 miles an hour. This is worth a round of drinks.
I completely agree with you on that. When I saw him hit it, the word that popped into my mind was violent exit velocity. I mean, that ball was going to do damage wherever it landed. 114 miles an hour.
Whew. Hansel Robles now enters the ball game, and he'll face Stanton. Runners at the corners. Talise at first, Gordon at third. 2 runs in and a 7-1 lead. Stanton, 55 home runs. Line drive base hit, left center field. That knocks home Gordon. Talise hustles on to third. Great to see. Follows up the home run with a solid line drive RBI single.
Carlos Stanton continues to show us, prove to the baseball world how much winning means to him, right? I mean, who doesn't think that this is all starting to make some sense. Marlins offense back at it, coming to life. Stanton at the center of it all. 4 RBIs tonight, now his second base hit. And the smile's back. Good to see. Marcell Ozuna, a couple of hits tonight.
Fouls it back. By the way, Stanton, home run number 55. Aaron Judge, home run number 44 tonight. Still only 1 out. Ozuna knocks one into left field. That's an RBI and a hit. 3 hits for Ozuna. RBI number 112.
The Marlins are happy to be home.
Justin Bour now. Yeah, this is a 9-1. Not quite a laugher. And look, where the Marlins have been, which is a very dark, dark place. They've dropped 17 of their last 20. They've allowed 131 runs in those 20 games. Where the Marlins have been, you don't want to take your foot up off the gas at all.
Stay after it.
Bour swings through it. It's 0-2. RBI single and a double. And a fly ball out for the big man. Popped up and out of play. Now, being a left-handed bat in the major leagues is an exclusive club. You are in it, Todd. Bour's in it right now. There's another guy sitting to our right, far left there, Keith Hernandez.
Oh yeah.
And today he was talking a lot about Justin Bour. Loves his swing, loves the power.
See some similarities between their swings. Both have really good hands. Very handsy hitters. Something that stands out when I look at JB's swing.
Bour pulls it. Smith goes to second to get the out there. And the Mets get the middle runner, Ozuna, out on a fielder's choice. That one almost got over Smith's head, and Ozuna slow to get up. I think the throw there may have surprised him.
You see the high chop to the right side. Smith is the one who comes up with it. Strong throw to Reyes. He feels like that's the best chance to get the out. And you watch Marcell. He actually peeks back there. He knows this play could be coming his way. See him get down. Maybe just a raspberry.
Or strawberry. That the Now, is that term still used with all the high-tech sliding pants and
if you end up with
rash
one,
guards?
it is what it is. Put on whatever you want, but if you end up with one, it's still a raspberry.
That's a raspberry, or I've heard strawberry
Strawberries,
as well.
sure.
And that is a sort of road rash that you get on your leg or your knee from sliding. Anderson punches one. That's in the gap. That's going to roll a while. Knocks home Stanton. Bohr chugging to third. Freddie Gonzalez will send him. Here comes Bohr. Reyes drops the ball. Anderson stops at third. And Miami's got 2 more.
Well, why not? Anderson wanted to join the hit party. Harvey didn't give him much to hit tonight. Hopefully he's obliged. All the starters now have a hit. And this hit, a triple off the bat of Anderson, gets a slider. See Darno moving back inside. This is supposed to be away. Doesn't get there. Anderson right on it. He drives it out into center field. I'll tell you what, Marlins, I think I've said this year, but the Marlins have done a nice job tonight hitting against the defense. You not noticed, like, balls are going to the opposite direction of where the Mets seem to be playing.
It's a 6-run inning and an 11-1 lead. And here's Ichiro again. He opened the inning with a base hit. So first triple. Anderson has 3 doubles. Still looking for that first big league home run. Eric Goodell in the Mets bullpen. Joe fouls that pitch off. Robles yanks that fastball in. So big night for the Fish. It came in drips to begin with. A run in the first and a run in the third against Matt Harvey. But the Marlins had a lot of traffic against Harvey. Scored 3 times in the 4th. And then here in the 5th inning, knocked Harvey out after the first 2 hitters. And Robles having trouble getting outs. Ichiro 1 for 2 with a walk. He has some of the most awkward swings you will ever see, let alone for a guy that's headed to Cooperstown.
You very rarely see him out of control. And I think you're right. I mean, we see it that way. And what a normal, well, I don't want to say normal, that's not the right word. What we interpret as a swing, an American-made swing.
And then standing tall, he'll drill one to right just like that.
Up on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
I mean, his last swing, he was falling over. He spun out of the batter's box. And then watch this.
Remember the home run in Seattle where he got up one, I think it was 93, 94 miles an hour? Well, very similar. That at the letters. Watch this. Short, quick, compact. Ichiro will tell you it's about getting the barrel to the ball, and he does it well.
as the Marlins have cracked this one wide open. 17 hits, a 12-1 lead. Goodell's season, 31st game.
3.95 ERA. He's given up 5 home runs. Has 32 strikeouts in those 27 1/3 innings.
Ichiro the runner at first. And Aviles, who's got 2 hits. Every Marlins starter, including Dan Straley, exclamation point, has a hit. Breaking ball, bouncer. And the out recorded at second. But a big inning. 7 runs in the 5th. 12-1. Inning. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
All right, some highlights from around baseball. The big story tonight, well, a first against Clayton Kershaw. He'd never given up a grand slam in his glorious Major League career. So Aaron Altherr got him here for the Phillies. The Marlins saw how hot the Phillies can get offensively. They're building a little momentum on a very rough season. They lead the Dodgers 4-2. Dodgers problems continue. Brewers also lead the Pirates in their game 3-0. They picked up a large game in that wild card. They're now 2.5 out and 2 out in the loss column. You guys were talking about probably a must-type game. It was for the Brewers yesterday. They still have a shot, and they've got a 4-game series coming up with the Cubs as well. So it's going to be fun last few weeks here around the big leagues, guys.
You're right, Craig, and the Marlins are going to dive right into it in Arizona and Colorado. Derek Dietrich gets some time at first base. And Dustin McGowan is in. He'd been ready to come in, but it took about 20-25 minutes for the Marlins to score those 7 runs. McGowan gets Travis d'Arnaud, Brandon Nimmo, and Juan Lagares. Now, the kids are starting to chatter on social media. They know that Miami's got an 11-run lead, so the 10-run reel
is in play.
It is. It does take a while to download the codes to the safe, the steel case in which the 10-run reel is held. But if you have any requests, there are those of you that have followed Marlins baseball long enough, you know that there are some of those baseball oddities and Marlin fun moments that you might want to see. So if you've got a request, send them our way.
Dustin McGowan, most innings pitched out of the Marlins bullpen this year. Looking to bounce back. His 3 appearances, he's given up some runs.
Dan Straley had an odd line tonight in that he had the strikeout pitch working, but at times he couldn't throw a strike.
You're right. Get this. Gave up 13 hits and 8 runs 2 starts ago in Philadelphia, and he went 6 innings. Tonight, much better. No doubt. Only the earned run, as you mentioned, the 7 strikeouts. He had the slider working, 10 swing and misses on 20 sliders. Check that, 8 strikeouts.
McGowan misses. Yeah, that's 110 pitches. Drops his ERA down to 4.17. But the Marlins bullpen's going to have to pick up the next 4 innings.
If we were talking 2 months ago, we might think that the long ball would be the way for the Mets to get back into this ball game. Now, 2017, they've got 212 home runs as a team. They set the club record last season with 218. So they've got a shot. Here's the difference with the Mets right now. Tonight's starting lineup, not one player has more than 13 home runs in tonight's starting lineup for the Mets.
Those are home runs by proxy.
Yeah.
In the hole, and that's by Aviles. Into left field. Ozuna picks it up.
Tell you what, Rich, I know the infield has not gotten a whole lot of water, or sun, I should say. It is fast. It is faster than we've seen it all season long. Look at this. That's a broken bat.
Yeah, ask Matt Harvey how fast the infield is.
Yeah, well, I thought he might set up a soccer net behind the mound.
Here's Ligares. He's 0 for 2. And Aaron Altair grand slam against Kershaw. Ligares to his back knee on that swing. Of course, you're sort of like CSI box score when you looked up the Altair grand slam. What happened before it?
Well, that's actually why I looked, is because I was trying to discover what Rhys Hoskins had done, because I thought that was a pretty intriguing matchup after our many experiences with Rhys here in the second half. But a highlight reel, he walked right before the Altair at bat.
That Yankee Twins game is now 2-1 Yankees, bottom 7. Milwaukee 3-0 over Pittsburgh, bottom 8. It's a nice opportunity for Milwaukee to pick up a half game in both the Central and in the wild card. Vance Worley in Miami's pen. Ligares an 0 for 2. Dribbler up the line, and it's going to take a left turn and go foul. That's why you let it roll.
Yeah, fell off the cliff. Nice job by Anderson. That's exactly what you have to do. If it hits the bag, it hits the bag, but give it every opportunity to go foul. Look at this. Looked like it was going to stay fair on the grass, but it had a little English, and it took a hard right off the edge. There you go.
McGowan, another 2-2. And this one is strike 3.
Good slider. First strikeout for McGowan. Got it down. This pitch is a bit of a work in progress over the last 3 appearances for McGowan. Slightly inconsistent, but a good one right there. Down in the zone.
Cicchini takes in. We've got a variety of requests already in the 10-run reel. Joe wants the Jeff Conine birthday song from The Clown. Have you seen that one yet?
I've not.
Always a popular one.
Heard about it.
Tutti Frutti, one of Jeff's favorite entertainers, at one point saying a happy birthday to Jeff. Bouncer, Anderson to his left. Gordon turns, nicely done. 5-4-3, and McGowan works a scoreless 6th inning. And Moore lines it into right field. That's a hit. Talise around third. The throw is late. Stanton drives it. Left center field and deep. 55. Home run number 55. Number 55 for Giancarlo. Here we are tonight from right to left. Jeff Nelson, Craig Minervini, Todd Hollinsworth, and me. 85 degrees out, roof closed, window shut, AC on. 12-1, Miami on top. 17 hits for the Fish. And at the bottom of the 6th, more swings for everybody. Eric Dietrich swings and misses. Dietrich into the ballgame in a double switch. Leads off in the 6th.
See Flexen on the mound for the Mets. Mets have used 29 pitchers this season. Ties the club record back in 2013. Right there with the Philadelphia Phillies, they've used 31. And get this, Rich. Mariners, 40 pitchers this year.
Goodness.
Trying hard to get to the postseason.
And Jeff Nelson was not one of them.
Well, he was one of them, just not this year.
Yes. Derek Dietrich is called out on strikes. There's a look at Flexen.
Flexen's got a big arm. You see that two-seam fastball runs back to the inside corner against Dietrich. Fastball command always the question with Flexen. He's got it, he can be good. When he does not, he will walk hitters.
What a night for D. Gordon. 3 hits, 2-run triple, bunt single, stolen base, infield hit, 2 runs scored. And a batting average that's climbed to .307.
And I'm glad you brought that up. I was filing back through my notes from 2-3 weeks ago. He was about ready to.
D. Gordon slices that left center. That's another hit. Nimmo cuts it off. Gordon, a single. That's a 4-hit night. He's trending towards .310 right now.
He's on everything. Good to see. And we talked about this. We talked about it in the pregame show. When he sees his pitch, he gets his pitch. He's not missing his pitch. So much of being a good hitter, having a good season, having good runs is really when you get the mistake, doing something with it. Not fouling it off, not taking it, being ready to swing the bat. We've seen an awful lot of that this September from D. Gordon. All right, so I'll finish my thought. For second baseman, well, he would be the 4th to have 2 career 50 stolen base seasons and a 300 or better batting average. Some good names on this list. Now, he's already done it once. This is the 2-time club. Eddie Collins. Slow roller to the right side. You see the flip to Flexen. Gordon over at second.
All right, Eddie Collins.
Yep, Eddie Collins. Here's your club. Here's the names where I know you like these 2 names, right? So he's already got 1 season. He did it in 2015. Remember, this is what I'm talking about. 50 stolen bases. He's got to hit above 300 this year. Great time to talk about it, right? Joe Morgan, 75 and 76. He did it. And Louis Castillo, 1999 and 2000.
The second baseman, not the pitcher. Here's Stanton now. Giancarlo climbs in. Stanton is 2 for 3. 3-run homer, RBI single, which was a line drive to left center. Flexen fires a fastball for a strike. Oh, 1. And that's in. That's a ball and a strike. The home run was to left center. Just off the very edge of the batter's eye up there. The single was to left center as well. One and 2. It's funny how, look, and Stanton will say, yeah, I've been slumping. Over his last 20 games, an average of about 150. But he's hit 5 homers. A lot of guys, you'll say, hey, he's hit 5 homers over his last 20 games. He's
on fire.
He's on fire. He's rolling. He's hot.
Yeah, the one thing that has disappeared somewhat from his game was the walk. That homerless stretch we talked about coming into tonight's ball game. He'd gone. It was 32 plate appearances in between home runs. He'd only walked 2 times.
That's a fastball, and he got him looking. Stanton strikes out. Marlins up big, 12-1. 12-1, and there it is. 10-run reel. Into the truck. Now they've downloaded the codes. First out. How about some rain delay? This is from FAU. One of the great rain delays in history. Shake weight. Remember shake weight?
I do.
Look at that. Look how well it works. How about some wrestling? Upside down close, always a hit. Now those are really upside down. There you go. That's just a taste. We got more coming for you, kids. Try to keep you entertained tonight. Vance Worley in the ball game. Phil Evans at the plate. Worley zips in a strike.
Evans in Vegas this year, 127 games, 279 batting average, 26 doubles, 11 home runs.
No.
I will say this, having worked 3 years in Las Vegas, one of the many benefits of baseball in Las Vegas, no shortage of national anthem singers. Oftentimes an Elvis impersonator. I mean, that was one of the
played in Vegas.
One of the more entertaining things about it. You remember that?
Yeah, I do. It's funny you should say that. You got me locked back in on it.
Every now and then, a magician that would sing, or someone that would do, you know, the Barbra Streisand show. Wasn't Babs? The Neil Diamond impersonator.
Right.
1-2.
Well, I just always remembered the bartering starting early between the players and the manager as far as batting practice and what time should we be at the field in Vegas.
There was a time where you play 5-game series.
Oh, yeah.
And
I was part of that.
You as a road team, as you remember, and as I remember, the road team is usually worthless the last 3 games of the series.
That's what I was getting at, right? So when I say the bartering would start, you're flying it. Usually the older players would go up and say, yeah, you know, we don't need batting practice tomorrow. It's way too hot outside. So that's where the bartering starts. Now, of course, it's not what they're really getting at. They want to know that they can go out and play cards all night long.
Evans strikes out.
and enjoy Las Vegas.
There's the Mets box score. Nori Aoki has shined. Mets now have their AAA in half for a while now in Las Vegas. For the longest time, it was a Padres AAA outpost. That's into right, and Aoki is 3 for 4. Reyes coming up. This is only your second taste of the 10-run reel, isn't it?
It is.
I don't know that we have any Todd Hollandsworth Marlin bloopers or fun moments. I mean, there's great moments. You sliding across the plate at Wrigley Field. Your big hits in that series.
Yeah. Some good moments here. Couple of big hits during the season.
Odd stuff has to happen, though. It has to,
right.
You know.
It's interesting because you're right. You look for that, you know, for the oddity, and so much of that season, in fact, almost all of the 03 season was played with a degree of seriousness because of what we had done to ourselves early on. There wasn't any of that. I mean, I got to remember, I think we clinched on Saturday. I think we had 1 game to go. I mean, we clinched a playoff spot in game 161.
A.J. Burnett throwing the ball through the window of the truck was not that year, I don't think.
No.
Count 3-1. We have some good mascot stuff. We have the day Mr. Redlegs met his demise in Cincinnati.
Met his demise?
Well, theoretically, when your head leaves your body.
Oh no.
3-2, and Worley gets a strikeout of Jose Reyes. So watch this, kids. Oh!
They put the neck brace on him.
How come it went so fast? Can we see it in slow motion?
That's outstanding.
There's Dribble Cabrera at the plate. All right, here we go.
Yeah, look at that right wheel. It starts to give out.
Oh.
That's not good.
But he did have a helmet. He wasn't the guy inside was not real happy. He's angry. Cabrera's 0 for 2. Trying to think if we have any Mets-specific stuff in the 10-run reel. Little topper, Worley on to first in time, and nice inning by Vance Worley. Skateboarding dog, you want it? You got it. Real vaults. Oftentimes we have players do promos, and hilarity ensued when John Buck was getting set to read a promo from Miccosukee. Take it away, John.
Miccosukee Resort is game Miccosukee Ultimate Rewards Player Club Card at the Miccosukee Resort Gaming Miccosukee. Fans, present your Miccosukee. At least you're not making me spell it. Miccosukee, okay. Mikasaki Resort and Gaming get in the game. Did I say it? Mikasuki. I told you guys I'd have a problem with this. You guys act like it's so weird. Just say Mikasaki, John. You just hit a slider, okay? You just try to hit a slider. Save it, you hit a slider. You'll hit a slider as good as I can say Mikasaki.
Always a good sport.
Got a little salty there, didn't he?
In that game, he homered over the Mikasuki sign.
Hopefully on a slider.
Probably. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen that home run, but there's good possibility. That foul ball almost brought Todd Hollinsworth out of his seat. I'm glad you didn't leave your feet.
Oh, I was ready.
Ozuna, left field. That's a bolt. That's got a chance, and it's gone.
The day Giancarlo Stanton returns, hits number 55. Marcell Ozuna picks up right where he's left off at home. He has been an absolute terror here at Marlins Park this season. His 21st home run, and his swing is back. Great to see Marcell Ozuna have a great night tonight. Look at this hanging slider above the belt.
Jacob Rame into the ball game, and Ozuna greets him with a line drive. It's 13-1 now. So 34 for Ozuna, 55 for Stanton, and Vance Worley knocks one about 20 feet, and he's out number 1. Brian Anderson coming up. Mets have made a variety of changes. We'll get you caught up as the game allows. And times in September, it could turn into a spring training type affair. Matt Reynolds is now at shortstop. Please welcome him to the show. Phillip Evans stays in the ball game. He's at third base. Of course, Rame is the new pitcher. He's the 5th out of the bullpen for the Mets. Anderson takes a strike. We saw John Buck this year at Wrigley Field.
No, Marcell Ozuna just showed us how to hit a slider.
Yes, he did.
There he is.
Also, Thomas Nido is behind home plate.
Boom.
Anderson on his way down to first. Here comes Ichiro. The ballpark pass. Once again, you can receive access to every remaining regular season home game. There's 5 of them left. Actually, there's 6 of them, right? 4 and 2. So 6 of them for $29.99. Last chance. MLB.com, ballpark app, Marlins.com/pass today. Some restrictions apply. Florida Lottery in-game jackpot hits. Ichiro's getting closer to Cap Anson. He is 3 away from number 21. Ichiro fans here tonight got to be pretty thrilled with not only Ichiro, but seeing Nori Aoki go 3 for 4 for the Mets.
He has been their bright spot.
That's a pop-up. Here comes Aviles now. Jacob Rame out of Denton, Texas. Originally a Dodger draft.
Brewers finished off the Pittsburgh Pirates 3-0. Pretty close to a bullpen day once again. Sugar got the start, went 5 innings. Nebel picked up his 36th save.
As we noted, the Cardinals are not playing. The Rockies are not playing. Avila swings and misses. A Marcell Ozuna home run stretches the lead to 13-1. What else we got? Oh, that's right. Cirque du Soleil. It's a first pitch. Watch, he'll throw it eventually. Throw it. Throw it. Throw it. Mets. So Todd, before you were here in the old ballpark, we used to do the fantasy auction out in right field in the picnic area, and so we had this great idea. Let's get the tent up. Let's have the auction out there. Let's put the broadcasters out there. And before the ball game, it turned out to be not such a good idea.
I'm sorry. This is going to get ugly, isn't it?
Yeah, it did. It really did. Thankfully, the broadcasters had not yet arrived on the set.
Is it fair to say the wind is swirling? Not even sure what you're holding on for now. At that point, you just run.
Now, happy to report that we were able to move the auction up under the in the concourse of the old football stadium, and we had a very successful night that night. Raised lots of money.
Well, and that's the goal. The question, though, did the tent survive?
No, we never went back there. We decided.
Well, so you went through all of that went on for nothing.
Well, we had the event under that tent for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
And so we thought we were onto something.
Right.
We raised like $15,000 the first year. We thought we were killing it.
Uh-huh.
And we had a tent. We had a dream.
You see everybody's fighting for the tent. Don't let the tent go. Don't give up the tent.
Yes, we lost a lot of good tiki stuff in that wind event. I think John Morales. That was before Twitter. Had we had Twitter at that point, John Morales would have tipped us off. 10-run reel tonight. It's 13-1. Marlins on top of the Mets. Top 8. Little roller up the line. Now there are nights like this where after the game I'll get an email or a tweet saying, "Stick to the game, you joker."
Whoa.
Just call the game.
Whoa.
Just call balls and strikes. Don't wander off in a 13-1 game. Stay the course. Stay on it. Get this Dominic Smith at bat through. I could let Larry Vanover call it just like that.
Apparently Larry's listening to you.
All right, let's go. Oh, a beer explosion. Watch the fan go to throw it. A Wrigley tradition. The lady in the back is the best. The look on her face.
Oh, I thought you were going to correct her language right there.
No.
You don't have to excuse that?
No, lip reading is a whole different thing. It just has to be heard to offer an apology.
All right.
Watch it. Wait for it. On second thought, we apologize for
That's right.
for what she wanted to say. Nido into center field. And so Thomas Nido into center field with a base hit. Now, it's not just beers you got to look out for. In LA, nachos are popular.
Oh.
At least they got the ball, right?
No nachos, no soda.
Brandon Nimmo is up. It's a 13-1 game in the 8th. Vance Worley. Roller up the line. Dietrich's at first. He steps on the bag. Nimmo says it's a foul ball. Terry Collins is going to come out. Larry Vanover, the home plate umpire, didn't see it that way.
He said the ball was live and in play. In fact, an out at first base. Nimmo claims it was a foul ball off his toe.
Hard to see from that.
I've got close, but that's about all I can offer you.
It's not a reviewable play.
Inclusive yet.
And Worley kind of blocks the view there. Yeah, I think it did hit his toe. Lagares now.
Two down in the 8th.
Ball and a strike. Lagares is 0 for 3. Mets have 6 hits to go with the run. Marlins 13 runs on 19 hits, including home runs from Giancarlo Stanton, Marcell Ozuna, triples from Brian Anderson and D. Gordon. A double from Justin Bour. Stanton's driven in 4 runs. Gordon's driven in 2. Anderson's driven in 2. Morley misses up. Drismer Despagne tomorrow night. Seth Lugo for the Mets. What's the fastest squirrel you've ever seen?
Well, the one here at Marlins Park, I think.
Right? No, this is the fastest squirrel you've ever seen. This is San Diego. This is long before the freeze.
What happened to the world's fastest squirrel?
Well, it was discovered. It was discovered. It was widely popular as Cicchini fouls that one off. It was widely popular for a while. I think he ran a few times. And then it was discovered that he was an NCAA athlete who ran like the 400. And
sure
so
looked like it.
I believe he was receiving compensation for performing, which may have been a violation. That's just the
rumors?
The urban legend. A little pop-up. Dietrich's there, and he makes the catch. Bottom 8, 13-1. .6:30 start for Marlins Live. Jeff Nelson, Craig Minervini, Seth Lugo, and Odrisamer Despagne will be pitching for your viewing pleasure. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, Humie has a great seat. Her first time at a Marlins game. She is a Marlins fan, lives in Toronto, but originally from Japan, and quite an artist. Tell me about the drawings. Let's look at Kristen Yelich first. Why did you do these?
because he's really nice. I'm fan of Yelly, of course.
You like Yelly, all right. Let's see who else you have here. There, oh, look at how she did the Stanton. Did you notice that with the muscles?
Yes, because he hit the home run lot, right? He's strong. I respect him.
Good job on the logo and get the black hat. And then, of course, what a great job you did on Ichiro.
Yeah, most respectful player in my life, of course.
He's your favorite.
Yeah.
Guys, she has a book here. She's had several of them with highlights and moments, box scores, stories from the first days back in Japan. I don't know if you can tell. Can you hold the mic for a second? Just hold it like that. And if you look through here, there's box scores. Tell us more about what you have in here.
I didn't like baseball until 13 years old, but when I was a junior high school student, I watched Ichiro's game and I really impressed his play. So his play changed my mind, and I like baseball, I like Ichiro Suzuki, so I'm really interested in his play. So I tried to, yeah.
Yeah, well, you did a great job with that, and your pictures are beautiful. Take a look at that again. How about that, guys, huh? Well done. You me?
Yeah, yes.
Good to have you here at the game.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, how about that shot, guys?
That's really cool.
Well done.
I love the scrapbook with the photos from early Ichiro. The Oryx Blue Wave. Dietrich pops one back and out of play. Second at bat for Derek in the ball game.
That is Jamie Callahan. There you go. He's pitching in his 5th ball game. He was acquired from the Boston Red Sox for Addison Reed at the deadline, July 31st.
Dietrich pulls it, backhanded there by Dominic Smith, and he flip it on over to first. Toyota gives you an inside look. The all-new RAV4. Fewest players remaining from opening day. Let's have 16. White Sox have just 14 left from opening day.
Fewest players remaining from the start of this ball game. The Mets. There you go. 7 of the 9 on the field right now. Played at Vegas this season, including the entire infield. And Nemo.
Gordon finds Reynolds at short, and there's 2 outs. All right, let's go to Los Angeles. You know, when you're looking for a foul ball and asking a player for a foul ball, make sure you secure your child. And when you're a child and dad does this, give him a swat. Now, the good news there is, I believe Craig was with us that night, and we spotted that father and that youngster, and Craig got a baseball and brought it to her. See Stanton in his early years? Come on. Come on. She was not hurt. That's why we've shown it. We were able to laugh at it, and she had a huge smile when presented with the baseball from Fox Sports Florida. Did not get Dad of the Year.
Shame on Dad. Yeah, he didn't even go to the, right arm to left arm switch. No. He just evacuated altogether.
I think we interviewed the young lady. We did not interview Dad.
He didn't earn it.
No, we shunned him. That one gets under the glove of Reynolds. Hard hit by Talise. And that's going to buy another at bat for Stanton tonight.
This stays up, not down. Right there, this ball's going to stay down with his glove above it. So you see him hit off the top of it. It's going to be an error. 25 hits in the ball game tonight. First error on the board.
Stanton hit 55 in the 4th. And he takes in from Jamie Callahan. He has an RBI single, also has walked, scored 3 runs tonight in a 13-1 lead. In case you missed it,
there's that swing. He's so identified with in the month of August.
Stan hits a bolt to left, and it ends up in the glove of Nemo. Well struck, 13-1 still. Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By the all-new Jeep Compass. By your South Florida Honda dealers. Hurry into the Summerbration sales event today. 13-1, 10-run reel takes us back to Philadelphia. Clammy Sosa, the umpire-eating clam. And a little indigestion there. Those shoes do not taste good. And the hat. With help from the fanatic. Former Philly, Vance Worley. Gonna make that transition. In line for a save if he finishes the game. Doesn't matter. Cool. Doesn't matter the score. If you pitch the last 3 innings, you save the bullpen. Phil Evans is up. And Evans swings and misses. Aoki and then Reynolds also due up for the Mets.
Whoa!
Miami with 19 hits. It's early for the Marlins. Has to feel good to be on the other end of one of these games.
No doubt. Particularly here at Marlins Park.
Because they've been at the bottom looking up on a lot of games like this.
First home game since September 6th.
Anderson bare hands, and he'll have to eat it. Evans has got himself a hit. A reminder, MLB at Bat is your new best friend. Download it from the App Store. Get you up to the minute scores, StatCast, pitch speeds, launch angles, exit velocities. By the way, the exit velocity on the Stanton line drive to the left, according to MLB at Bat, 118 miles an hour.
On a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Good sign. Real good sign.
Ball in the dirt. Tomas Talise been working behind the plate the whole night. Aoki is 3 for 4.
If the Marlins can hold on and win this ball game, it will be their 10th win of the season versus the Mets, and they will have won the season series.
Count 1-2. And Aoki takes strike 3 call.
Fourth strikeout for Worley tonight.
Did you ever play in the Mexican League?
Nope. Played the Dominican Winter League 3 times.
That's too bad. You might have run into, there was a legendary pitcher in the Mexican League, Rojo Johnson.
Do not know Rojo Johnson.
Did you ever watch Eastbound and Down?
Not.
Really?
Is there a connection?
Well, Eastbound and Down was that HBO show of the pitcher who ended up in the Mexican League. And Rojo Johnson was more of a real life character than a movie character. He ran afoul of the authorities, though, because while pitching in the Mexican League, Reynolds he was arrested for illegal transportation of reptiles.
Oh my. What kind of reptiles?
Illegal ones.
Oh, okay.
So there was an infamous game because he tried to make a comeback, and the Round Rock Express acquired him. And so that was like a big comeback, right? I mean, the legendary Rojo Johnson. People had heard about him, his chance to get back to the big leagues. That went foul back. Full count. And 1 out. Reynolds came in at short. And Reynolds, that one thrown away. Anderson throws it down the line. Holding third is Evans. All right, so Mets have runners at the corners. So here's this game. We have footage from this game, the Round Rock Express. And Rojo Johnson gets called into the ball game. This is against the Nashville Sounds. And things got out of hand early.
His control seems to be a little off. Might be harder than his fastball.
Yeah, well, I mean, he got even more out of hand after that, because apparently he had beer on the mound. And apparently he looked an awful lot like Will Ferrell.
Mustache start to come off.
Yes, as he ran for left field.
Right.
This was a great minor league stunt, and nobody knew about it. They built this whole legend up, and it's Will Ferrell in disguise, and he comes in and pitches, and everybody thought this was a guy named Rojo Johnson.
How about it?
Yeah, when the mustache came off, he couldn't hold it.
Look at the gold chains around his neck.
Yes, well. Ball on the ground. Aviles whips it. Gordon turns it. That's a nice way to end it. Ball game. Marlins win it 13-1 the final. And a feel-good win for a team that finally gets to come home. And tonight, they beat the Mets soundly. This is our Bonefish bang bang play of the game. There's one, there's two.
There you go. 13 runs, more than enough to bring the smiles back to the Marlins. They get off the long road trip.
19 hits for the Fish, a run on 8 hits for the Mets. Giancarlo hits number 55. Marcell Ozuna hits number 34. And Marlins Live is coming up